Assalamu alaikum. Hello everyone. Hope you are doing well. So I am Protoy and I'm a faculty member of HEXA'S AMBARKHANA. And today I'm joined here by one of our students, Fariyajahan Prapti, who has recently taken the IELTS exam and obtained an overall band score of 8. So I'm moving over to you, ma'am. So Prapti, ma'am, how are you doing today?
I'm doing amazing today.
Okay, so recently you have taken your IELTS exam and you have achieved an incredible overall band score of 8 on your IELTS exam. So, how does it feel? How are you feeling about that?
Well, I'm really grateful to have achieved such a score. However, it wasn't what my parents expected. They were expecting a little bit more from me.
Okay.
So, yeah, it's not exactly what I wanted, but I'm still grateful.
Okay, and how would you describe your journey about Texas Americana?
Honestly, it was a pretty fun journey. So, whenever I'm at my home, I obviously have to focus on my academics, and they are pretty stressful. So, this whole IELTS thing became an escape from, like, for me. So, whenever I would feel really exhausted with that, then I will just study this one. So yeah, I used to switch it up a lot, and the overall journey, even though it was a pretty long journey since I started from October last year and it just ended recently, it was a pretty long journey, but I loved it.
Okay, great. So, how do you describe the environment, the overall environment of Texas Americana according to the classrooms and our care stations? And what's your feeling about that?
I would say it's pretty fun. Like the overall thing, it doesn't always feel like I'm studying. And as my class teacher was Abir sir, so he would always try his best to not let us get bored. And we were one of those afternoon batches, and we were exhausted. But he always knew how to energize us and how to make us understand the stuff in a really fun way. So if you guys are looking for something that is not too serious but will get you excellent result, I would suggest Texas Americana.
Okay. And have you ever taken any partial or mock test at Hexa's Americana?
Honestly, I went through all of them.
Okay.
There were 7 tests for each module, I believe, given. Also, for speaking, I think I did 9 partials, like 2 instant speaking, and I completed the 7 that were given to me. For writing, I only did 6 because after the module was finished and in between my main exam, I didn't have that much time, or else I would have given the 7th one as well. So the partial exams really humbled me, if I'm being honest. I was so overconfident. I was like, okay, I can get an 8.5 even when I'm sleeping. I was confident like that. However, after giving the partial exams, I realized that I had a lot of things that I needed to improve. Otherwise, I wouldn't get the score that I desire, especially for listening and reading. Those two, improve drastically. The more I gave those exams, and I got to know about the pattern, I got used to the speed. So I would really recommend other students to take all of them, and by the end of it, you'd be a much better student than when you began. So yeah.
Okay. So, in total, you have taken 9 partial tests about speaking, right?
For speaking.
Okay. So, after each speaking, and you have received feedback from the teacher, right? So, could you please tell me how did the feedback help you to improve your overall speaking?
Well, initially the feedbacks were really a big help for me as I used to repeat a lot of words, not in a way you think as in murmuring, it's not in that way. I used the word like a lot. Abdullah sir took my first partial, I believe, yeah. So he knows about it. So he told me about it, and I slowly paid attention to those. Another thing that I learned through those feedbacks were the vocabulary thing. So I knew the advanced vocabularies, however, I didn't really implement them in any of my speaking. I just kept it in my mind. I kept on forgetting about it. So over time, the more I practiced and the more tests I gave, I found these little imperfections in my speaking, and I started working on them during my free time. And I also do some content making, so it also improved that. So yeah, those little mistakes. Another thing that I have heard that students really have to go through and is real difficult is the grammatical mistakes. That had never really been an issue for me. However, I do get that if they're not used to it, they would obviously have a little bit of trouble to adjust with it. But yeah, it was pretty helpful. So the main details matter the most for me, because if you want to achieve above 7, then the details will start to matter. And if your target is like 7 or below, it doesn't really matter if you make small mistakes.
Okay. So let me know just who initially recommended you about getting admitted in HEXA'S AMBARKHANA?
Okay, so it was my second maternal uncle. He initially told me to get my spoken English course done from here, as he said that it is extremely difficult and it would match up to my level. However, it wasn't the hardest, it was pretty easy. I remember I would only study 2 hours before the exam and I would still get the highest. It was probably because it had all the basics, and my basics were pretty clear as my school is an English version one, obviously. So if I had problem with the basics, I wouldn't even be able to speak, right? So yeah. However, the IELTS course, which my dad later recommended after talking with Jamin sir, it was pretty humbling experience. And so it was mainly my uncle's recommendation for spoken English, and for IELTS, it was Jamin sir and Papa.
Okay, got it. And from your overall journey, like spoken and IELTS journey, so after completing your journey, would you recommend other students to come here and join our courses?
Okay, this is very controversial, but yes, I would if you're looking for a challenge. If you want to challenge yourself and are really tired of the easy questions that other places provide, then you should come here. I think I have mentioned it countless times. It would be humbling. But over time, when you guys, like look at the intricate details that are improving over time, you would be grateful to be here. And also, I really like how supportive the teachers here are. I don't think other coachings are as supportive, especially their teachers. I remember I gave a lot of unofficial tests as well, speaking ones, because I really wanted to keep my speaking in check. And my class teacher was always down to take those tests. He never really said no to me. And then when I wanted to improve my writing band score, obviously the ones that they were teaching in class weren't exactly enough for me, and I needed something more advanced. He did provide me with it because he understood that I needed something else. So yeah, if you need something that will be customized to your needs, then you should definitely check this one out. And I would also recommend this to my friends. Actually, if I'm being honest, one of my friends already goes to this coaching. She is doing her spoken English batch, and I did recommend it to her once.
Okay. So last but not least, before we end off, so do you have any messages for our audience?
A message. Yes. So the only message that I would want to give anybody that is going to take their IELTS exam is keep on practicing. You haven't practiced enough. Please believe me on this. If you keep on practicing and you'll try to do some of the hardest questions, then you'll definitely improve. And also, the more you practice, the longer the muscle memory will work. Even if you guys skip for a month or something, even then you would be able to still get on track if you want again. And other messages I would like to give. Well, there is another one that is, please check this out, this place, and I can guarantee you that even if it will be a bit hard for you at first, over time you guys will really, really thank me for giving you guys this recommendation.
Okay.
That's about it.
So thank you, Prapti ma'am. Thank you for your cooperation, and thank you for joining me here today. And thank you, our audiences. Goodbye.